This will be mini-series of employee stories who worked at gas station at Route 66. I will tell them until workers run out of stories or until they mysteriously disappear. Enjoy. I never thought I'd end up here, slinging coffee and cigarettes at a rundown gas station off Route 66. But life has a way of kicking you into the dust. The place is a relic. Pumps rusted at the edges, neon sign flickering like it's gasping for breath. I work the night shift, from dusk till dawn, alone in that fluorescent lit box surrounded by endless black highway. At first it was just boring, truckers grabbing snacks, the occasional lost tourist. But then the customers started changing. They aren't normal, not human, or at least not anymore. And once you notice, you can't unsee it. You can't leave. My first real shift started like any other. I clocked in as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky bloody red. The manager, an old guy with a perpetual squint, handed me the keys and muttered something about keeping the doors locked after midnight. "Weird folks out there," he said, but he didn't elaborate. I figured he meant drifters or meth heads. The station's isolated, miles from the nearest town, just scrubland and shadows stretching out forever. I settled behind the counter, flipping through a magazine, the hum of the coolers my only company. Around 10, the bell dinged. A man shuffled in, tall and gaunt, wearing a suit that hung off him like it was made for someone twice his size. His skin was pale, almost translucent, veins pulsing blue under the surface. He didn't look at me, just wandered the aisles, fingers trailing over the chips and candy bars. I watched him on the security monitor, grainy black and white but clear enough to see his hands. They were wrong. Fingers too long, knuckles bulging like they were about to burst through the skin. He picked up a pack of gum, turned it over, then put it back. Over and over. Finally, he approached the counter, eyes hidden behind dark glasses despite the night. "Pack of Marlboros," he rasped, voice like gravel scraping bone. I rang him up, trying not to stare. As he handed over a crumpled 20, his sleeve rode up. His wrist was mangled, skin peeled back in flaps, exposing raw muscle and bone, like he'd been gnawed on by something with sharp teeth. Blood oozed slowly, thick and dark, dripping onto the counter. I froze, stomach churning. You okay, man?" He tilted his head, glasses slipping down his nose. Behind them, his eyes were gone, just empty sockets, black voids swirling with what looked like tiny writhing worms. "Just a scratch," he whispered, lips curling into a smile that split his face too wide, teeth jagged and yellow. He snatched the cigarettes and left, the door slamming behind him. I wiped up the blood, but it smeared, staining the counter like ink. It smelled like rot, like meat left in the sun. I told myself it was a trick of the light, maybe drugs or a costume, but the stain wouldn't come out no matter how hard I scrubbed. The night dragged on, the highway silent except for the occasional howl of wind. Then, around 2, headlights pierced the darkness. A beat-up van pulled up, engine sputtering. 3 people got out, 2 women and a man, all in their 30s, laughing like they'd just come from a party. They piled in, grabbing beers and snacks, chattering nonstop. The man paid first, flashing a grin. "Rough night?" I nodded, forcing a smile. As the women browsed, one of them bent down to pick up a candy bar. Her shirt lifted, revealing her back. It was covered in bruises, purple and black, shaped like handprints, massive ones. Fingers splayed wide enough to span her entire torso. The other woman noticed me staring and giggled, pulling her friend close. "Don't mind the marks. We like it rough." They left arm in arm, but as they drove off I caught a glimpse through the window. The man was in the back now, and the women. Their faces were pressed against the glass, mouths open in silent screams, eyes wide with terror. But the van sped away, taillights fading into the void. I shook it off, heart pounding. Hallucinations from lack of sleep, right? But it got worse. The next customer came just before dawn. A woman in a floral dress, hair neatly pinned. She looked normal at first, pushing a stroller through the door. "Evening," she cooed, voice sweet as honey. The stroller was covered with a blanket and something inside whimpered softly. She bought baby formula and diapers, chatting about the weather. As I bagged her items, the whimper turned into a gurgle, wet and choking. The blanket shifted, and a tiny hand poked out, clawed, scaled, nails like thorns. The woman smiled, tucking it back. "He's teething." I leaned over the counter, curiosity overriding fear. She pulled the blanket aside just enough. The thing in the stroller wasn't a baby. It was a mass of flesh pulsating, eyes dotted across its surface like boils, mouths opening and closing, sucking air. One mouth latched onto her finger, drawing blood, and she laughed. "Hungry little guy." I backed away, bile rising in my throat. She paid and wheeled it out, the gurgling echoing until they vanished into the night. I locked the door after her, but the lock felt flimsy, like paper against whatever was out there. That was my first night, but it didn't end there. The shifts blurred together after that. One night, a guy came in covered in dirt, fingernails caked with soil. He bought a shovel. No, wait, he already had one, leaning it against the counter while he grabbed water. His eyes were wild, darting around. "Gotta bury it deep," he muttered. "They keep digging themselves up." I didn't ask, but as he left, I saw the trunk of his car pop open accidentally. Inside, a body, twisted limbs, face frozen in agony, dirt-streaked skin peeled in strips where fingers had clawed at it. The eyes were still moving, tracking me as the trunk slammed shut. Another time, a family pulled up in an RV. Mom, dad, 2 kids. They seemed wholesome, buying ice cream and sodas. But the kids, their skin was loose, sagging like ill-fitting suits. When the boy reached for a cone, his arm stretched unnaturally, elbow bending backward with a sickening crack. The girl whispered to me, "Help us." But her voice came from her stomach, a muffled plea. The parents hustled them out, but I heard screams from the RV later, wet tearing sounds like flesh being ripped apart. The worst was the regular. He comes every few nights, an old man in a trench coat, face hidden under a hat. He never buys anything, just stands in the corner, watching. Last time he approached, coat falling open. His chest was a cavity, ribs cracked wide, organs exposed and writhing. Heart beating erratically, lungs inflating like balloons. Insects crawled through the mess, feasting on the decay while he stood there alive. "See something you like?" he asked, voice bubbling from his throat. I tried quitting after that. Told the manager I was done. He laughed, eyes glazing over. "You can't leave, they won't let you." I drove home that morning, but my car broke down halfway. Towed back to the station. Next shift, there I was again. The customers keep coming. A woman whose face melted like wax under the lights, dripping onto the floor in puddles that reformed into tiny screaming faces. A man with extra limbs sprouting from his back, twitching like spider legs, grabbing snacks without using his hands. A group of teens, laughing, but their laughter echoed wrong, layered with cries of pain. I see them in my dreams now, waiting outside my window. The highway calls me back every night. If I don't go, they come for me, scratching at the door, whispering my name. And tonight, the bell just dinged. Someone's coming in. God help me, they're smiling. The bell's chime still hangs in the air, sharp and mocking, as the door swings open. The fluorescent lights buzz louder, like they're warning me, but there's nowhere to run. I grip the counter, the blood stain from that first night still smeared under my palm, a reminder that nothing here washes clean. The customer steps inside and my breath catches. It's a woman, or at least it looks like one at first. She's wearing a sundress, bright yellow, the kind you'd see at a picnic. Her hair is blonde, curled perfectly, but her face is wrong. It's too smooth, like a doll's, no lines or pores, just a blank canvas of skin stretched tight over bone. Her eyes are too big, unblinking, and her smile stretches ear to ear, lips splitting at the corners to reveal gums that glisten black. "Evening," she says, voice high and sing-song like a child playing pretend. She glides toward the counter, her movements jerky, like a puppet with half its strings cut. Her shoes click on the linoleum, but they leave wet, red footprints behind. I glance down. The prints aren't just blood, they're thick, congealed, mixed with chunks of something soft and fleshy. My stomach lurches, but I can't look away. She leans over the counter, close enough that I smell her, rotting flowers and copper. Got any milk? She asks, tilting her head so far it nearly touches her shoulder. A crack echoes from her neck, bone grinding on bone, but she doesn't flinch. I nod mute and point to the cooler in the back. She doesn't move at first, just stares, her eyes reflecting the light like glass. Then she giggles, a sound that burrows into my skull and shuffles toward the cooler. As she walks, her dress rides up and I see her legs. They're mottled, grayish-green with sores oozing pus. Something moves under her skin, bulging and slithering like a snake trapped in a bag. She grabs a carton of milk, but her fingers puncture the cardboard and it spills, mixing with the bloody trail she's leaving. She returns, holding the dripping carton like a trophy. "Oops," she says, giggling again. The milk splashes onto the counter, but it's not white. It's gray, thick, with clumps that writhe like maggots. I gag, backing up until I hit the cigarette rack. She slides $1 across the counter, her nails long and splintered, caked with dirt and something dark red. "Keep the change," she whispers, leaning closer. Her breath smells like death, like roadkill left to bake under the sun. As she turns to leave, her dress catches on a display, tearing slightly. Underneath her back is a lattice of cuts, deep and deliberate, like someone carved a pattern into her flesh. The wounds pulse, leaking black fluid that hisses as it hits the floor. The door closes behind her, and I'm alone again, but the air feels heavier, like it's pressing down on my chest. I grab a mop, but the mess she left doesn't clean. The blood and milk mix into a sticky sludge that clings to the floor, and those writhing clumps, whatever they are, skitter into the corners, disappearing under shelves. I give up, my hands shaking, and slump behind the counter. The clock says 1:12 a.m. 5 hours left in my shift, and I know it's only going to get worse. The next customer doesn't use the door. I'm restocking the energy drinks when I hear it. A wet, scraping sound like meat dragged across concrete. It's coming from the back of the store, near the storage room. The lights flicker and the temperature drops, my breath fogging in the air. I grab the baseball bat we keep under the counter, though I know it's useless. The sound grows louder, closer, and then I see it. A man, or what's left of him, crawling across the floor. His legs are gone below the knees, stumps leaving a smeared trail of blood and grease. His arms are too long, dragging his bloated torso, and his head lolls to one side, neck stretched like taffy. His face is half melted, one eye dangling from its socket, swinging like a pendulum as he moves. He doesn't speak, just groans, a low, wet sound that vibrates in my bones. He stops at the candy aisle, clawing at a bag of M&Ms. The bag rips, and the candies scatter, rolling through his blood. He scoops them up, shoving them into his mouth, but his jaw unhinges, teeth splintering as he chews. Some of the candies fall through a hole in his cheek, plopping onto the floor with bits of flesh. I grip the bat tighter, but he doesn't even look at me. He just crawls back toward the storage room, leaving a trail of blood and chocolate. I follow, heart pounding, but when I open the storage room door, it's empty. No blood, no man, just boxes and dust. But the smell lingers, rot and sugar thick enough to choke on. I lock the storage room and try to focus, but the station feels alive now, walls creaking, lights humming like they're whispering secrets. The next hour passes in silence, but it's not a relief. It's like the calm before a storm, the air charged with something waiting to break. Around 3 a.m., the bell dings again. This time it's a kid, maybe 10, 11, wearing a hoodie too big for him. He's carrying a backpack, heavy, sagging off his shoulders. He doesn't look up, just shuffles to the counter and drops a handful of coins. "Jerky," he mumbles, voice barely audible. I grab a pack of beef jerky, but as I hand it over, his sleeve slips. His arm is covered in burns, fresh and raw, skin peeling back to show muscle glistening underneath. The burns are shaped like words, but they're in no language I recognize. Jagged symbols that seem to shift when I look too long. He catches me staring and pulls the sleeve down, but not before I see his fingers. They're fused together like melted wax, and the tips are sharpened, claw-like. He snatches the jerky and bolts, but his backpack unzips as he runs. Something falls out, a doll, or what's left of one. Its face is burned too, eyes gouged out, mouth sewn shut with thick black thread. The thread moves like it's being pulled from the other side, and the doll's head twitches, turning toward me. I don't follow him. I can't. My legs won't move and my vision blurs with panic. I stumble to the bathroom, splash water on my face, but the reflection in the mirror isn't right. My eyes look too wide, my skin too pale, like I'm becoming one of them. I slam the light off and go back to the counter, trying to breathe. The doll's still on the floor. I don't touch it. I kick it under a shelf, but I hear it later, scratching like it's trying to get out. By 4 a.m. I'm jumpy, every shadow a threat. The bell dings again and I nearly scream. It's the old man in the trench coat, the regular with the hollow chest. He's back, standing in his usual corner, hat low, coat flapping open. His organs pulse wet and glistening, and the insects are louder tonight, buzzing like a swarm. He doesn't move, just watches. I try to ignore him, but the air grows thick, hard to breathe. The lights dim and I hear whispers. Not words, just sounds like voices trapped underwater. They're coming from him, from the cavity in his chest. I grab the bat and yell, "Get out!" My voice cracks weak. He doesn't flinch. He steps closer and the insects spill out, crawling across the floor up the counter. One lands on my hand, its legs sharp, burrowing into my skin. I scream, swatting it off. But it leaves a mark, a tiny bleeding hole that burns like fire. The old man laughs, a wet gurgling sound, and leaves, the insects following like a trail of black confetti. I'm alone again, but the whispers don't stop. They're in the walls now, in the hum of the coolers. The clock says 5 a.m. 1 hour left. I lock the door, but I know it won't help. They don't need doors. They're already here, waiting. And I'm starting to think I'm not just working the night shift. I'm part of it. The clock ticks to 5:15 a.m., and the air in the gas station feels like it's congealing, thick with the stench of blood and decay that no amount of bleach can erase. The whispers from the walls have grown louder, a chorus of garbled voices that seem to claw at the edges of my mind. I'm gripping the baseball bat so hard my knuckles ache, but it's useless against whatever this place is becoming, or maybe what it's always been. The fluorescent lights flicker, casting shadows that twist into shapes I don't want to name. I'm not alone. I haven't been alone since I took this job, and the realization sinks into my gut like a stone. The bell doesn't ring this time. Instead, the door creaks open on its own, slow and deliberate, as if the station itself is inviting something in. A figure steps through, shrouded in a hooded jacket, face hidden in shadow. They're short, maybe 5 feet, and their hands are stuffed in their pockets. The air grows colder, my breath visible in puffs that dissipate too quickly. They don't move toward the counter, just stand there, swaying slightly, like a metronome keeping time with the whispers. I clear my throat, trying to sound steady. "Can I help you?" No answer. They shuffle forward and the hood falls back just enough to reveal their face, or what should be a face. It's a mass of scar tissue, raw and red, like someone burned away every feature and left a canvas of ruined flesh. No eyes, no nose, just a lipless mouth that gapes open, revealing rows of needle-like teeth packed so tight they overlap. The mouth moves, not speaking but chewing the air, saliva dripping in thick strings that hit the floor with a wet splat. I step back, bat raised, but they don't come closer. They reach into their pocket and pull out a crumpled photo, tossing it onto the counter. I don't want to look, but my eyes betray me. It's a Polaroid, faded and stained, showing a family, mom, dad, 2 kids, smiling in front of a house. The faces are scratched out, clawed so deeply the paper's nearly torn through. The figure points at the photo, then at their chest where the jacket bulges unnaturally. A sound comes from them, not from the mouth but from somewhere deeper, a low moan like wind through a hollow tree. The bulge shifts, and the jacket rips open. Their torso is split down the middle, skin peeled back to reveal a cavity filled with writhing, glistening shapes. Human hands, tiny and pale, dozens of them, clawing at the air, grabbing at the edges of the wound. Each hand has a face on its palm, miniature versions of the ones in the photo, screaming silently. I stumble back, knocking over a rack of chips, the crunch of plastic underfoot drowned out by the pounding in my ears. The figure doesn't move, just points at the photo again, then turns and shuffles out, leaving the Polaroid behind. The hands in their chest keep reaching, even as the door closes, and I swear I see one stretch toward me, fingers curling like it knows my name. I grab the photo and shove it under the counter, but the image is burned into my head. I can't shake the feeling that those faces recognized me. The clock says 5:30 a.m. Dawn's close, but it doesn't feel like salvation. The station's walls seem to pulse now, like a heartbeat, and the whispers are forming words I almost understand. Names, pleas, threats. I try to focus on cleaning, anything to keep my hands busy. But the mop just smears the blood and gray milk from earlier into new patterns, ones that look too much like faces. I'm wiping down the counter when I hear it, a tapping, faint but insistent, coming from the glass doors. Outside, in the dim glow of the pumps, stands a man. He's normal-looking at first, middle-aged, wearing a flannel shirt and jeans. He's tapping on the glass with a coin, the sound rhythmic, almost hypnotic. I wave him off, pointing at the closed sign I flipped after the last customer, but he doesn't stop. His tapping grows louder, faster, and then I see his hand. The fingers are swollen, splitting at the tips, oozing a thick yellow pus that streaks the glass. His face presses closer, and his eyes, God, his eyes, are milky white, no pupils, just clouds swimming in sockets. His mouth opens and his tongue lolls out too long, forked like a snake's flicking against the glass. "Let me in," he hisses, voice muffled but clear enough to send a shiver down my spine. "I just need a drink." His tongue smears the glass, leaving a trail of slime that bubbles and pops. I shake my head, gripping the bat, but he slams his hand against the door hard enough to rattle the frame. The glass cracks, a spider web spreading from his palm. His fingers burst open, pus and blood spraying, and something crawls out. Small beetle-like things with human teeth, skittering across the glass, trying to find a way in. I run to the back, heart hammering, and barricade myself in the storage room, shoving boxes against the door. The tapping follows, not on the glass now, but on the walls, the ceiling, like he's everywhere. The whispers join in, louder, chanting something I can't make out but feel in my bones. I sink to the floor, clutching the bat, and notice something in the corner, a trapdoor I've never seen before, half hidden under a stack of crates. It's old, wood splintered with a rusted padlock that looks like it hasn't been touched in years. The tapping stops, and for a moment, it's silent. Then a new sound, scratching, slow and deliberate, coming from below the trapdoor. I don't want to look, but I'm drawn to it, like my body's moving without my permission. I push the crates aside, my hands trembling, and kneel by the trapdoor. The scratching grows louder, and now there's a smell, damp earth, decay, and something sharper like burnt hair. The padlock is loose, barely holding, and before I can stop myself, I pull it off. The trapdoor creaks open, revealing a dark, narrow shaft. A ladder descends into the blackness, and the scratching is clearer now, mixed with a low, guttural hum, like a voice trying to form words. Something moves down there. I can't see it, but I feel it. A presence, heavy and wrong, watching me. A hand grabs the ladder from below. Not human. Too many fingers, each one tipped with a claw that glistens wetly. I slam the trapdoor shut, dragging the crates back over it. But the scratching doesn't stop. It's louder now, insistent, and the trapdoor rattles like whatever's down there is pushing up. The clock chimes 6 a.m., and the first rays of dawn creep through the windows. The scratching slows, then stops. The whispers fade, and the air feels lighter. But it's a lie. I know it's not over. I step out of the storage room, bat still in hand, and check the front. The glass door is intact, no cracks, no pus, no beetles. The man is gone, but the Polaroid is still under the counter. And now there's a new mark on it, a bloody fingerprint that wasn't there before. I clock out, legs shaky, and step outside. The morning air is cool, but it doesn't calm me. The highway stretches out, empty, but I feel eyes on me, from the scrubland, from the pumps, from the station itself. I get in my car, praying it starts, and it does. But as I pull onto Route 66, I see something in the rearview mirror. The station's neon sign flickers, and for a split second it spells out my name in jagged, glowing letters. I don't go home. I can't. I know they're waiting for me there, too. The shift's over, but the night's not done with me. It never will be. The car engine hums as I grip the steering wheel, my knuckles white. The neon signs after image, my name in flickering, twisted letters, still burning in my mind. The road stretches ahead, Route 66, a black ribbon cutting through the desert. But it feels like I'm driving in circles, trapped in some loop that always leads back to the gas station. Dawn is breaking, the sky bruising purple and orange, but the light doesn't bring relief. It just makes the shadows sharper, more defined, like they're watching me from the scrubland. I keep checking the rearview mirror, expecting to see the station looming behind me, or worse, one of them. The customers, the things that come in the night. I'm halfway to town when the radio crackles, unprompted. Static at first, then a voice, low, garbled, like someone speaking through a throat full of mud. "You didn't lock the door," it says, and my blood runs cold. I locked it. I know I did. I slam the radio off, but the voice keeps going, looping in my head. "You didn't lock the door. You didn't lock the door." My foot presses harder on the gas, the speedometer climbing, but the road doesn't change. No landmarks, no signs, just endless asphalt and dust. I pull over, hands shaking, and check my phone. No signal as usual. The gas station's out here in a dead zone, cut off from the world. But there's a photo in my gallery I don't remember taking. A blurry shot of the station's counter. The Polaroid from last night in the frame. The scratched-out faces of the family seem clearer now. Their features almost recognizable, like they're trying to reform. I delete it, but my phone glitches, the image popping back up. I throw the phone into the passenger seat and drive on, promising myself I'll quit, burn the station down if I have to. Anything to get out. When I get back to the station for my next shift, because I always come back no matter how much I swear I won't, the air feels heavier, like it's soaked in dread. The door's unlocked, just like the voice said. I step inside, the bell jingling like a warning, and the smell hits me. Rot, blood, and something sweet like overripe fruit. The lights are dimmer tonight, casting the aisles in a sickly yellow glow. The blood stain on the counter is spread, tendrils creeping across the surface like veins. I don't touch it. I don't clean anymore. It's pointless. The first customer comes at midnight right on cue. The bell rings and a man stumbles in, his body hunched, dragging one leg behind him. He's wearing a stained mechanic's jumpsuit, the name tag reading Jim. His face is lopsided, one side sagging like melted wax, the other frozen in a rictus grin. His left arm dangles, useless, the hand swollen and black, fingers fused into a club-like mass. He limps to the cooler, grabs a beer, and shuffles to the counter. Up close, I see his neck stitched shut with thick black thread, the skin bulging around it like something's trying to push through. "Rough day," he mutters, his voice wet like he's gargling phlegm. He slides a 10 across the counter, but his fingers burst open as he does, spraying a mix of blood and pus. The liquid writhes, forming tiny shapes, worms or maybe fingers curling and uncurling before sinking into the counter's stain. I don't flinch anymore. I just ring him up, avoiding his eyes. They're mismatched. One human, brown and bloodshot. The other a glassy orb, like a marble, rolling independently in its socket. He leaves without another word, but as the door closes, I hear a snap like bone breaking and a low moan from outside. I don't look. The next hour is quiet, but the silence is worse. It's not empty. It's expectant, like the station's holding its breath. I check the trap door in the storage room, the one I found last night. It's still there, crates piled on top, but the wood's warped now, bulging upward like something's pressing from below. The scratching hasn't started again, but I feel it, a vibration in my bones. I don't open it. I can't. But I hear a faint hum like the one from before, and it's forming words now. "Come down, come down." At 2 a.m., the bell rings again. This time it's a woman or something shaped like one. She's tall, skeletal. Her skin so thin I can see the outline of her bones glowing faintly under it, like they're lit from within. Her hair is long, tangled, and moves on its own, slithering across her shoulders like snakes. She's carrying a plastic bag, heavy and sagging, dripping a dark liquid onto the floor. She doesn't browse, just walks straight to the counter and drops the bag in front of me. It lands with a wet thud, and something inside shifts, pressing against the plastic. I see the outline of a face, human but distorted, eyes too large, mouth stretched in a silent scream. "Trade," she says, her voice a hiss like air escaping a punctured tire. Her lips don't move, but her throat bulges, splitting open to reveal a second mouth, lined with jagged teeth. "You give me something, I give you this." She nudges the bag, and the face inside moves, eyes blinking rapidly, staring at me through the plastic. I shake my head, backing away. I don't want it. Her second mouth snaps shut, and her eyes narrow, glowing a sickly green. "You'll want it," she says, and the bag bursts open. The thing inside spills out, a mass of flesh, pulsating, covered in eyes that roll and blink in unison. It's alive, crawling toward me, leaving a trail of slime and blood. I swing the bat, not thinking, and it connects with a wet crunch. The mass screams, a sound that makes my ears ring and splits apart, each piece sprouting new eyes, new mouths, all gibbering my name. The woman laughs, a high, piercing sound, and grabs the pieces, shoving them back into the bag. "Next time," she says, and leaves, the bag still dripping. I'm on my knees vomiting when the old man in the trench coat shows up again. He's always here, always watching. Tonight his chest is worse, organs spilling out, held together by webs of black thread, insects crawling through the mess, their wings buzzing like a chainsaw. He doesn't speak, just points at the trap door in the storage room, his finger elongated, tipped with a claw that drips something thick and green. The whispers start again, louder, chanting, come down, open it." I don't know why I listen. Maybe I'm too tired, maybe I'm breaking. I drag the crates aside, the trapdoor rattling now, the hum louder, vibrating through the floor. I grab the handle and it's warm, like skin. I pull, and the darkness below yawns open, the smell hitting me. Earth, blood, and something alive. The ladder descends into nothing, but there's movement down there, shapes shifting in the gloom. A hand reaches up, not the clawed one from before, but human. Pale, with nails bitten to the quick. It grabs my ankle, cold and strong, and I scream, kicking free. The trapdoor slams shut, but the handprint burns on my skin, red and raw. The clock says 5 a.m. The old man's gone, but the whispers aren't. They're inside me now, crawling through my thoughts. I lock the door, but it doesn't matter. The station's alive, and it's hungry. I look at the counter and the Polaroid's there again. The face is clearer now. One of them looks like me. The shift's almost over, but I know I'm not leaving. Not really. The road, the station, the things. They've claimed me. And whatever's under that trapdoor, it's waiting. The station's pulse beats in my skull, syncing with the whispers that won't shut up. A relentless drone of come down, open it. It's 5:15 a.m., and the dawn's light is a lie. A thin veil that doesn't touch the darkness pooling inside this place. The air's so thick I can barely breathe, heavy with the stench of rot and that sickly sweet undertone, like fruit gone bad. The blood stain on the counter has spread further, curling into patterns that look like words, though I can't read them. My ankle still burns where that hand grabbed me, the skin red and blistered, pulsing like it's got a heartbeat of its own. I don't look at it. I don't look at the trapdoor either, but I feel it, a pull like gravity, urging me to go back, to open it again. I'm behind the counter, clutching the baseball bat when the bell jingles. The door opens, but no one steps through. Just a gust of wind, cold and sharp, carrying the scent of wet earth and something metallic. I wait, heart hammering, but the station's silent except for the hum of the coolers and the faint scratching from the trap door. Then I see it, a shadow moving across the security monitor, flickering in the grainy feed. It's not human-shaped, too long and twisted, like a body stretched until it broke. It's in the candy aisle, but when I look out, the aisle's empty. The shadow moves again on the screen, closer now, behind the chip rack. I grip the bat tighter, my palms slick with sweat, and step out from behind the counter. The lights flicker, plunging the store into brief darkness. When they snap back on, there's a girl standing in the middle of the aisle. She's young, maybe 16, in a dirty white dress, barefoot, her hair matted with something dark and sticky. Her arms hang limp, but her fingers twitch, curling inward like they're trying to claw at something inside her. Her head's tilted at an impossible angle, neck bent so far her chin touches her shoulder. She doesn't look at me, just stares at the floor, where a puddle of black liquid spreads from her feet. It's not blood. It's too thick, shimmering like oil, and it moves, rippling toward me like it's alive. "Lost my shoes," she whispers, her voice a cracked, hollow thing like wind through broken glass. She lifts her head and her face, God, her face is split down the middle, the skin peeled back to show muscle and bone, held together by thin strands of tissue. Her eyes are intact, too big, too wet, darting around like they're searching for something. "Can you help me find them?" I shake my head, backing toward the counter. "I don't. Get out, please." My voice is weak, trembling. She steps forward, and the puddle moves with her, tendrils stretching across the floor, climbing the shelves. One tendril wraps around a candy bar, and it dissolves, melting into the black ooze with a hiss. She giggles, a sound that makes my skin crawl, and her face splits wider, the tissue snapping like overstrained thread. Something falls from the wound, a tooth yellow and jagged clattering to the floor. "I'll find them myself," she says, and drops to her hands and knees, crawling like an insect, her limbs bending at wrong angles. She scuttles toward the back, toward the storage room, and I hear the trapdoor rattle as she nears it. I don't follow. I can't. The black ooze stays behind, pooling in the aisle, and I swear I see eyes blinking in it, small and glassy, watching me. I stumble back to the counter, my breath ragged, and check the clock. 5:30 a.m. The whispers are louder now, not just in the walls, but in my head, forming words I can almost understand. "Open it. Join us. Come down." The Polaroid's still there under the counter, and the faces are clearer than ever. The one that looks like me is smiling now, a grin too wide, too sharp. I tear it up, but the pieces flutter back together, reforming on the counter like they're mocking me. The bell rings again and I flinch, expecting another nightmare. It's a man this time, older in a tattered coat that smells of mildew. He's normal looking at first, just a tired guy with gray stubble and sunken eyes. He buys a pack of gum, his hands steady, but as he turns to leave, his coat shifts and I see his back. It's not skin. It's a patchwork of faces, human faces stitched together with black thread, their mouths moving, whispering in unison with the voices in my head. One of the faces, a woman's, opens its eyes and looks at me, tears streaming down its cheeks. "Run," it mouths, but the man doesn't seem to notice. He walks out, the faces still whispering, their voices fading into the night. I'm shaking now, the bat useless in my hands. The station feels smaller, the walls closing in, the air so thick it's like breathing tar. I hear the trapdoor again, not scratching but banging, loud and rhythmic, like someone or something pounding to get out. I grab a broom and jam it through the trapdoor's handle, but it doesn't help. The banging grows louder, and the floor shakes, cracks forming in the linoleum, spreading like veins. The air grows colder, and my breath comes out in clouds that twist into shapes, hands, faces, claws, before dissolving. I'm not alone. The old man in the trench coat is back, standing in his corner, his chest a writhing mass of organs and insects. He's closer this time, close enough that I see the threads holding his ribs together are fraying, snapping one by one. His hat tips back, revealing his face, or lack of it. It's just a hole, a swirling void where features should be, and inside it stars blink, like I'm looking into a night sky that's alive and hungry. He points at the trap door and his arm stretches, bones cracking, until his claw hovers over the broom. "Open it," he says, his voice a chorus of 1,000 screams, layered over each other. I swing the bat, screaming, but it passes through him like he's smoke. He laughs, the sound shaking the shelves, knocking cans and bottles to the floor. They burst on impact, spilling liquid that smells of blood and bile. The insects spill out of his chest, crawling up the walls, covering the ceiling, their tiny teeth clicking. I drop the bat and run to the front door, but it's locked. I locked it, but now the key won't turn. The glass rattles as I pound on it, and outside the pumps are bleeding, thick red streams pooling in the dirt. The banging from the trapdoor stops, and for a moment it's silent. Then I hear footsteps, slow and deliberate, coming from the storage room. Not human footsteps. Too heavy, too wet, like something dragging itself across the floor. The lights flicker, and the whispers scream now, a cacophony of voices begging, threatening, pleading. Open it. Join us. You're already ours. I turn, and there's nothing in the aisle but the shadow on the security monitor is back. Larger now, filling the screen. Its shape shifting, human, then not, then human again. The clock hits 5:50 a.m. 10 minutes until dawn, until the shift ends, but I know it won't save me. The footsteps stop, and the air grows still, heavy with the weight of something waiting. I look at the counter, and the Polaroid's there again, whole, untouched. The face that looks like me is laughing now, its eyes black voids, its mouth splitting wider, wider, until it's nothing but teeth. The trapdoor creaks open behind me, the broom snapping like a twig. I don't turn around, I can't. Something's climbing out and it's calling my name. The trapdoor's creak is a scream in my ears, a sound that splits the world open. Whatever's climbing out of that dark shaft is close now, its presence a weight pressing against my spine, making my legs tremble. The air is suffocating, thick with the stench of damp earth and rotting meat, and the whispers, those endless gnawing voices, have become a roar, a chorus of you're ours, come down. My name echoes in the cacophony, twisted into something not quite human. I'm frozen behind the counter, the Polaroid staring up at me, my own face grinning back, its teeth too sharp, its eyes too empty. The clock says 5:55 a.m. 5 minutes until dawn, but time feels like a trap, looping me back to this moment, this place, this hell. The thing from the trap door moves closer, its steps uneven, wet like flesh slapping against the linoleum. I don't turn around. I can't. My hands grip the counter, nails digging into the blood-stained wood, and I stare at the door, praying for the sun to break through, to burn this nightmare away. But the windows are dark, the dawn held back by something heavier than night. The lights flicker, strobing, and in the flashes I see it on the security monitor. A shape too tall, too thin, limbs bending wrong, head lolling like it's barely attached. It's in the storage room, but it's moving, dragging itself toward the door. The bell jingles and my heart stops. The front door swings open, and the old man in the trench coat steps in, his chest a writhing mass of organs and insects, the void of his face pulsing with those impossible stars. He's not alone. The girl in the white dress is there, her split face dripping black ooze, crawling on all fours. The man in the jumpsuit, Jim, limps in behind her, his stitched neck bulging, his marble eye rolling in its socket. The woman with the glowing bones follows, her hair slithering, the plastic bag in her hand pulsing with that eyeless screaming mass. They're all here, every customer from every night, crowding the doorway, their bodies twisted, broken, wrong. Their eyes, those that have eyes, lock on me and their mouths move in unison, chanting with the whispers, "Open it. Join us." I back away, tripping over the bat I dropped earlier. It clatters across the floor, useless. The thing from the trap door is in the room now, its shadow stretching across the aisles, long and jagged. I hear its breath, a wet rasp, and feel its gaze like needles in my skin. The customers part, making way, and I know it's coming for me. The Polaroid on the counter shakes, the faces screaming now, my own included. Its mouth splitting wider, blood seeping from the paper. I run for the storage room, slamming the door behind me, but it's no use. The trapdoor's wide open, the ladder descending into a blackness that pulses like a living thing. The banging starts again, not from below, but from the walls, the ceiling, the floor, like the station itself is trying to break apart. The customers' voices grow louder, their chant a deafening wail, and I feel it in my chest, my head, my bones. You're ours, you're ours. My ankle burns where the hand grabbed me, the blisters splitting open, oozing something that smells like the station's rot. I grab a box of matches from a shelf, my hands shaking so bad I drop half of them. I don't know what I'm doing, but I need to end this. I light one, the flame small and trembling, and hold it to the edge of a stack of paper towels. They catch, the fire spreading fast, licking up the shelves, the walls. The station groans, a sound like a dying animal, and the whispers turn to screams, high and piercing, like glass shattering in my skull. The customers are at the door now, pounding, their hands clawed, fused, oozing, smearing the glass with blood and pus. The thing from the trapdoor steps into the light. It's not human, not anymore. Its body is a mass of flesh, stitched together from pieces of others, faces embedded in its skin, mouths gasping, eyes blinking. Its arms are too many, too long, ending in hands that drip with black slime. Its head is a tumorous growth, eyeless but seeing. Its mouth a gaping wound that spews the same ooze coating the floor. It reaches for me, and I throw the burning paper towels at it. The fire catches, and it shrieks, a sound that shakes the walls, but it doesn't stop. It lurches forward, flames licking its flesh, and grabs my arm. Its touch is ice and fire, burning and freezing, and my vision blurs. I see flashes, faces, hundreds of them, screaming, begging, all trapped in this thing, this station, this endless night. My face is among them, stitched into its chest, my mouth moving, chanting with the rest. I scream, pulling free, and the fire spreads, engulfing the shelves, the ceiling. The customers are inside now, their bodies melting into the thing, their forms merging, becoming one writhing mass of limbs and faces and teeth. I run for the front door, the heat at my back, the screams in my ears. The glass is cracked, but I throw myself against it, and it shatters, cutting my arms, my face. I stumble into the parking lot, the pumps still bleeding, the ground slick with red. The station burns behind me, flames roaring, but the thing is still coming, crawling through the fire, its many hands reaching. I sprint to my car, fumbling with the keys, and the engine roars to life. I floor it, the tires screeching, Route 66 stretching out before me. In the rearview mirror, the station is a blaze of orange and black. But the thing is there, standing in the flames, its faces screaming my name. The customers are with it, their bodies fused into its mass, their eyes glowing through the smoke. I drive, the road blurring, my heart pounding so hard I think it'll burst. The whispers are still with me, fainter now, but there, in my head, in my blood. You're ours. You can't leave. The sun rises finally, painting the sky red, but it's not enough. The road doesn't end. It loops, twisting back toward the station, and I know it's not over. I see it in the distance, rebuilt, untouched by the fire, its neon sign flickering my name. My ankle burns, and I feel something move under my skin, something alive crawling upward. The Polaroid's in my pocket now, though I don't remember taking it, and my face on it is changing, the eyes sinking, the mouth stretching. I stop the car, the engine idling, and stare at the station. The bell jingles, though no one's there. The door opens, and the darkness inside calls me, a voice that's mine and not mine, whispering, "Come down. Join us." My hand moves to the door handle, and I step out, my feet carrying me forward toward the station, toward the trap door, toward whatever's waiting below. I don't want to go, but I do. The shift's over, but I'm not free. I never was. The station owns me, and it always will. That's all for today. Hope you can still sleep tonight. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for next story.